And then I remember a moment when actually we've been debating what is our special recipe for our game Park Beyond. And someone said, I want to shoot people with a cannon across my park. And it sounded so stupid and so crazy at the first place. But hey, that's the idea. And this is how the impossification of Park Beyond was born. And we decided, let's go big and let's make some crazy things happening and really do whatever you like to do in Park Beyond, and only your imagination is the limit.
The impossification idea came to life very early in the development. In the beginning, we explored different directions with the team and brainstormed a lot. And I think what stuck with the team the most was the idea to allow players to build something they could not experience in real life. So something which is impossible in real life. And this is basically where impossification came from. The impossification concept actually changed a lot throughout the development. In the beginning, we started with impossifying rides, and then the team came up with more and more cool ideas. We all need to put them in the game. So you could impossify staff now, you can impossify shops, all different things you can think about. And overall, even the degree of impossification changed. In the beginning, we had mild crazy rides, but in the end, we ended up with totally out-of-the-box, over-exaggerated attractions.
What really makes a flat ride come alive is the animation, because it really puts all this movement into a ride. So when we create one of these flat rides, the animation is therefore very crucial. We would start by collecting references and all the information we could get, for example from YouTube or other sources. Then we would create a bundle for the animator. The animator would look with us over this kind of stuff, we would make sketches and then see how we could turn this into a good base flat ride animation. Based on the base flat ride animation, we then look, okay, how can we make it more awesome for the impossified version? We look at additional information, additional ideas without any restriction. We just think, okay, let's make the best animation possible. Afterwards, we then look at the stuff we get and then think, okay, how can we make it more believable and also believable in the world we created with Park Beyond? Based on that, we create the final impossified animation for the flat ride. For me, it's the most rewarding moment when you later look at the ride in the game and you see this animation and you see how your idea and your creativity really comes alive, and this animation really pushes the ride forward and makes it also so much more awesome.
In case of the Tornado Wing, we thought, for example, it would be really cool to make the visitors fly in the park, and what if there is this giant tornado happening that would then whirl them around. And we tried to make this work first, so we thought, how can we make it believable? How is it actually feasible? How can we make it look the coolest? And this would then be this initial idea that we are working with.
Audio is an integral part of any game's experience, and ambient sound helps characterize the virtual world and adds to the player's immersive experience. In a game like Park Beyond, ambient sound is especially important for the feeling of being in a theme park, because it just doesn't feel the same if you cannot hear the music of the rides or the mumbling and cheering of the visitors around you. That is why in Park Beyond we have a number of different systems working together to help bring the music and the ambient sound of the game to life. And even if some of these things might not be actively noticed by all players, the Park Beyond audio team is definitely looking forward for everyone to get their hands on the game and experience it in-game to get immersed into their own theme parks. Furthermore, an important issue to consider for Park Beyond's audio is the question of scale. Because in Park Beyond we allow up to several thousands of visitors in the map at the same time. And having each one of these visitors play audio would not be possible performantly. That is why for our crowd audio We have several systems in place that analyze what is happening around the player to determine the locations and sizes, as well as the density of agent crowds, so these can be equipped with audio.
So from a producer's perspective, it was definitely a long process to get Park Beyond to life. In the early stages, there was a lot of trying and actually a lot of prototypes that we had. So we had one specific prototype only for the roller coaster editor, a prototype just to get the AI and the visitor behavior and them walking in the game world working. And then at some point, we had to get, once the vision was aligned, to get all of these different ideas into a project plan that actually makes sense and is actually achievable in the time frame that we had.
So just like with flat rides, you can impossify your coasters in Park Beyond. And when you impossify your coaster, we want to put you in the driving seat of how that will look. So you can go back in and change your coaster. And we do this by giving you an impossified hook. And this will be like a special objective that gives you a ton of stats, but will be really difficult to achieve. And there's a lot of different ones to choose from. So one of them might be get 20 inversions in your coaster. There's a lot of crazy possibilities like that. When we say coaster building in Park Beyond, the first thing that comes to mind for me is freedom. And I mean freedom in three ways. The first way is freedom in movement. The train can move forward, it can move backwards, it can split, it can go on different tracks. There's so many ways that you can make it go at any given time. There's so many combinations and possibilities, and we give you the full freedom to do it as you like. The second way that we use freedom is freedom in the environment. You can build your coaster through the environment just as you like. You can remove objects that are on the way. You can even tunnel through the terrain. We have a lot of cool scenery objects and even flat rides that you can build through and around. We have also some landmarks, even in the campaign levels, to give you like exciting, like cool and unique opportunities that you can build around. And the third way is freedom in design. And with that, I mean that you can build the coaster just like you want it. We're not gonna like correct you and say, oh, in this one corner, your G-forces are too high. No, if your coaster makes it to the end and it does a lot of exciting stuff, it's gonna be a good coaster. And it's gonna be your coaster.